Hi, congrats on your win. You're now 2-0 in this tournament, which is insane. The media day, or the media people get to be in the room for the first 15 minutes, and I saw you guys play the first 25 moves,
Yeah.
which is crazy. So tell me about the prep.
And in general, I prepared to this line, of course, but didn't know. I didn't expect that it will be this line because it's a very side line for black, and that the move the because there is so many options for white where white can get an advantage, but he knew very well, so he analyzed it until the end. So, but I also before the game I was like maybe he can play this line, so that's why I checked this line. So he played very fast, so I also played very fast. I think he after rook d7 check he didn't know until the end because king g6 was more better because after king g6 rook c7 rook f8 and it's enough counterplay for black to equalize the game. But he played king f6 and then I take on c7. So in this position I was a little bit confident on myself because he started thinking a lot because his preparation uh, uh, is finished. No, his preparation has finished, so he has to play by himself, and position is like slightly better for white with no risk. So that's why I was confident when he played king f6. I played rook c7. So but the end game was very tricky because so I felt during the game that in many positions I have an advantage but I couldn't realize that until the end. So that's why it was tricky. But anyway, I wanted to play faster because he was in time trouble. So after 40 moves, he got his 30 minutes. But anyway, I continued playing fast. So that's why he got one time trouble more. So and he made a final mistake.
So when you played rook d7 and you thought for a long time, how much farther down the prep did you, or had you looked at that point?
Uh, After rook d7?
Yeah, how much more of the prep did you know?
No, I was rook d7. My prep was rook d7, king g6, rook c7, rook f8, rook b7, rook f3, and here before rook f2, a4, and like here rook f1 check, king b2, rook f2, king c3, rook f3, and it's perpetual check, I think, and it's draw. Yeah, my analysis was until this position.
Okay, so you just knew that king f6 wasn't as accurate.
Yeah. No, I was a little bit. No, maybe King f6 is not losing, but it's more harder to equalize after King f6. But after King g6, it's more easier because Rook f8 and your Rook is you are activating your Rook, and because of your pieces are active, it's enough for draw, I think. So that's why maybe his prep has finished when he played Queen c5. Because maybe bishop b6, queen c2, knight c2, f takes c6. This endgame maybe looks like very draw, but there is some chances for white.
I'm curious to see what he thought for 30 minutes during that position, what he was calculating. I know you started out as the lowest rated player in the master section, and now you have 2 points. How do you feel? Were you expecting this?
No, I don't have such a big and fun emotions. So because I know that every game is very tough, and I have very strong players every round. So that's why I have to focus more and play maximum in my potential. So that's why the tournament it's only 2 rounds. So that's why I have to focus more and play other rounds better.
And I know you are Sindarov's second, or you were for the World Cup and for the candidates, and now you're helping him prepare for the World Championship. How has that preparation impacted your own play?
Um, It's tricky to say the one right answer. So, but in general, it's more helping me than. I think it's more helping me working with Jawahir, but in general, it's also very important to play by myself in tournaments. So that's why no, but I think. It's useful for me work with him, so that's why I'm happy working with him, and so I hope I will try to help him in the match against Gukesh.
Awesome. Well, congrats on your wins and best of luck for the next round.
Thank you.